Alright, so here is the video review for the Weijiang. I'm not sure how to pronounce that 100%, but MEGAMASTER. It is their masterpiece-esque Megatron. It is much larger than MP38. Was it Megatron 36? Yeah, MP38. The most recent masterpiece Megatron, because it's scaled more to MP-01 or their oversized, Weijiang's oversized MP-10. So he's a little bigger and a little larger. Also, you'll notice his gun mode proportions here are a little odd. The silencer obviously is very short. There's a reason for that. It looks a little odd. And back here, the stock here is also a little short. Again, there's a reason for it. And if you look if you look really closely at each of the weird things, they start to look weirder. But in general, if you just hold him and just look at him in profile, just glance at him as a gun, he looks like Megatron. It's so yeah, it's one of those things. It's a trade-off for some of the functionality you get here with the gun itself. He does hold well. The grip is nice. It's a little oversized, but not like some of the bigger Megatrons. It's not so ridiculous to hold. You can easily hold it in your hand. It's a little bit of a stretch, but not as much as some of the other larger grips we've gotten on some of these masterpiece-esque Megatrons. So a couple of neat things about the gun mode before we get to the transformation. There's some neat stuff in the transformation as well. One, so the silencer pops off. And most of you, if you've seen any of this, you know what's going on here with the silencer. But so we'll pop that off. He does come with an orange cap that came on the figure, and it easily pops off again because otherwise you wouldn't be able to attach this piece. So we'll pop that off, and we'll deal with this a little later on in the video. But yeah, he's got a little silencer. This is only included with like the first edition, but we'll set that off to the side. Now, this does not come off. This is integrated into the figure. It's a little disappointing, but when you see how it comes up here, because these are his feet. These are his robot mode feet, and there's a really neat transformation here. So I'm a little less upset about this being a part of it, but it would be nice to pop, because this can come off. The silencer bit can come off. It'd be nice if this could come off as well. But oh well. One of the things that's neat is you saw with the silencer attached, it's a little different. It's a long barrel, but slightly evocative of the covered gun barrel with the silencer attached. However, once you pop this off, because it looks out of place if you do it with this attached, there's a little piece right here that specifically flips, so now it's got the little sight on the front that on most of the original toys would get covered when you slid the barrel down, or slid the silencer on. And here it does not. It just kind of flips down to make it look more like a seamless long barrel, and then as soon as you pop that off, you can flip this up to look like the removed barrel. You can leave it up with this attached. I just think it looks a little awkward. But so that's a neat little feature, the way that you can hide this piece and flip it out. I guess we'll go ahead and leave it out for right now. And like I said, this piece doesn't attach because these are his ankles. You do get some clicky rotational back here. And it's a little, like, you're not going to be able to grab it by this and hold the gun up until it gets to about right there. So it's not a super, it's obviously enough to support him, but it's not a super stiff ratchet back here, especially here in stock mode. The scope does have an LED. There's a little button under here that you push to light up the LED, and we'll get into that again in robot mode. But what's neat is when I first got this, I wasn't sure where the battery compartment was, and there's a couple screws over here. You'll see it immediately when I flip it over, but I took these 3 screws out trying to find it, and it's right here. And the reason I couldn't see it is because when you transform it, here it is in gun mode, but the scope itself collapses in like that, and then there's a couple push-in pieces, spring-loaded pieces here to collapse it down. So it pops up, and let me actually just pop it off and do this. There's a couple spring-loaded pieces here. You squeeze them in on either side that push that up. So that's what it looks like for arm mode. It's condensed, and then in gun mode, you snap it up here on top, and then you can lift it up, and then these pieces pop out to keep it from pushing back down. If you pop it off and then want to reattach it while it's still in gun mode, that doesn't collapse up in there until you push those in, so you can snap it back on easily. So you pop that up and then extend it for gun mode, And again, you heard it ratcheting, so you don't have to pull it all the way out. You can stop it halfway in, and it doesn't slide. It latches into place very securely. So yeah, that's kind of neat too. And again, it's got the little LED. No sounds, but LED. I don't know what type of batteries it takes because it did come with batteries. It came packaged in collapse mode, like I said. So if you're not having trouble getting it to work, you have to extend it, and there's a little piece of plastic, like a lot of the Try Me toys in stores now, that you have to pull out before the LEDs will work, if it comes with batteries. If it's not, like I said, since I didn't have to replace the batteries, I'm not entirely sure. They're little button cells, but I'm not sure what kind they are. I did go ahead and put a repo label on it. That's mine. So yeah, so there's the gun mode. I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. And we'll go ahead and collapse it down to robot mode. Like that, and set that off to the side for the time being. Because it does not, the arm's split here. It's going to tab in over here when we get to the full-on robot mode. So yeah, let's go ahead and try to get this transformation done. It's a little weird. So the first thing you want to do is come back here, and a lot of this is similar to what we've seen before in some other Megatrons. This is obviously his torso has collapsed, his head's inside here. These are his two arms. The legs come forward around the trigger, much like they did on the original G1 toy. But there's some neat little changes and interesting stuff going on. So the first thing you want to do is, before you start lifting this up, is untab these little black pieces from the top part of the grip. They're tabbed, you kind of just grab it right here and lift up because they're tabbed into the back. And once that comes up, you can lift this whole, it kind of already popped up, lift this whole assembly up. And you want to make sure it lifts all the way up until things pop out, because much like the piece on the sight, these two side pieces are spring-loaded, and the back itself is spring-loaded. So in order to get this to collapse, you have to push these in, push in on the back, and then you can slide the whole piece down. Once it pops up, you want to make sure you pull it all up all the way, because all of these pieces pop out and keep it from sliding down in robot mode. And you can go ahead, if you want, and rotate that out of the way so we can start messing with the legs. These pieces right here, they fold down in leg mode, and I've had them stuck straight up like this in gun mode because you can flip them out, but then those pieces will not connect properly, and you can't leave them folded forward, or this will not collapse against the thigh properly. So I'm pretty sure these are supposed to go straight up. I got no instructions, but they stick straight up just like that. So kind of bend those out a little bit. And you go ahead and split down the middle here, the entire stock. Go ahead and flip this forward because there's also some spring-loaded clips on either side here that lock the hips in place. So yeah, just come here, split. Start splitting up the middle here, and you can see these these widen out. We just need to split everything here. Untab this tabs in to here. Once you've got that all loose, you can start folding this stuff around. Here are the front of his hips, or these are actually these are the back of his hips. But so open them up like this, and we'll do one leg at a time. So this whole piece right here, you can see there's this thigh, comes out and up like this. Before you get all the way up, about halfway up, you want to take this panel right here and flip it out and around. And then this panel comes up, and there's a tab here that's going to tab into the back of this panel. So like that. And that's going to form like the front of his shin. Tab this in, peg this in right here. Then you can bring the thigh all the way up, go ahead and fold this down, and then it's going to fill in some space up here. There you go. It's basically going to fill in that gap. Flip this panel out. This panel right here, which is the where the stock was, flip this up around like that. It's going to flip around, rotate up into here like this. This panel right here will come around. Actually, before you get all the way up there, there's a panel in here that needs to pop out. So flip this out, unfold these two panels to the side, and then this panel up to the top. And that's going to fill in the leg part here, like that. And then this piece will come back around. At least it should come back around. And once it's all lined up properly, this piece right here will tab into here. There we go. So tab all that together. There we go. There's your leg. Tab this in up top. Come on. There we go. Peg this all together. That, and then the feet. This piece folds, extends out. Come on. This piece folds down and around like that, and then pegs in like that. It goes from here to form the front of the foot. And this piece should come out here. Hold on a second. All right, so a couple things real quick. There's a panel up here that flips out that plugs into the side here, and that supports this in here. So you plug that all the way in, that holds everything out where it should be, and then that should plug in easily. Lift this up. Form the back of the leg. Now on the foot, like I said, this piece comes down, and this piece should lift out and flip around and peg back up in here like this to form the heel part of the foot. And then bring this around here, and here's where we're going to use these, lift this up, this front panel here on the thing, and here's where we're going to use these spring out clips. Might want to use a spudger or something to get that up. But they don't pop out automatically. They pop back automatically. They're spring loaded, which I think I mentioned, but come on, you. This is going to need to come off too at some point. Come on. Fine. So basically you're going to bring this around, and then this piece, once you get it to clip up, is going to clip in right up here. It's just a pain in the butt to do it. Well, you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and take care of those, and then we'll get to the rest of it. Go ahead and this leg, we'll do the same thing over here. Before we get that, flip this out. It's a whole lot easier when you're not doing it from behind a camera. Pop this up. Pop this out. Yep. Foot. There we go. All right, this has got to come out now. There we go. All right, now let's Lock these down. There we go. See, that's going to become the front crotch piece. Now it's just a matter of getting these spring-loaded things. Come on. There we go. There's one. And it locks it into place. Fold that down. You can see he's got spring-loaded thighs too that fill in, which is nice. This piece plugs in right back here. Hides the trigger crotch here. And then we gotta spring lock this thing on the other side. There we go. And there he is, his lower half, pretty much done. I thought this folded up a little bit tighter on this here, but yeah, there we go. Rotate that back. And we'll go up to the upper body. So this comes out like they often do. This whole assembly will split the arms here. Just untab everything here from each other. And this back piece will open up. At least it should open up. You gotta split it up here. Because his head's in here, and here we go. Come on. Let's see, this is attached here. You gotta get it from up top first. There we go. So you pop that out. Here's the whole assembly. Go ahead and flip his head up and out like this. This opens up. And you can see the arm swings around here. Around. Go ahead and flip this around to the back. And once that's done, you can go ahead and flip this here all back up. That spring. So there's a screw there with a spring on it, and the spring has come off the screw. We'll fix that. That's just a matter of screwing that back together. Bring all this back up. Bring the head down. Does that piece come out? I don't think so. Hold on. Nope, that piece is just there. Okay, I'm not wrong. Oh, it's because the spring is out. We'll fix that. So bring that out. Snap all this back together here. There we go. Upper body. Plug that foot back in. And then the arms, and this is kind of neat here. So the arm comes back. Lift this up. This piece needs to flip up into here. This arm plugs in and slides back. Does that not plug in up there? Oh, I know that's not right. Oh, there we go. Plugs up like that. And then this plugs in, slides forward. And the way the arms work, this is the shoulder, and it hides the hand. You lift this up, and then you pull this whole assembly up, extend the arm down, bring it down, fold this panel flat to fill in the arm, and then this whole shoulder piece, this collapses up like this, And then this whole piece up here accordions up into the shoulder pad like that. That sits on the back. Bring that all down. And then he's got his traditional shoulders. Yeah, so it's a really neat arm transformation. And it's the same over here. You can see how it all works. You got to untab this and bring it down. Extend the arm. Bring it down. Make sure it's plugged in. And then this whole assembly comes up. Put this down. And then accordions up over the arm into the shoulder pad. There we go. Like that. There's the shoulders. I feel like I'm missing a tab down here because he shouldn't be this knock-kneed. And then on the back, come up a little higher here. You unpeg this from here, and this is where you want to be careful because it just pegs this. This is fragile, and you gotta slide it out like that. It's tabs in here, and there's a tab here that goes into here, and a tab here that goes into the actual piece itself. But you lift that up, slide it down, fold this in, and plug it into his back, which goes in securely. And then if you want to leave this flipped out or not, this piece rotates so you can have that facing the right direction. Actually, I thought it rotated the other way, but so you can have that facing where you can see it or not. Or if you just prefer, you can just pop the whole thing back around. And then he's got ratcheting bits. And he's very tall. Like I said, he's more NE-01 sized. But there he is, up and down Megatron. Looking really nice. Good solid Megatron. Like I said, his thighs. There's a little bit of a gap here where his thigh expands out. You get it right there, but whatever. But he's got full-on up and down, side to side head articulation on a ball joint. Ratchets here. Ratchets here. Bicep swivel, ratcheting elbows. He does have posable fingers, although again, curved fixed pose for the last three. 2 joints in the knuckle, and then no joint in the thumb. Looks like there's a joint, but there's not. Does have wrist swivel. Has waist swivel. Ratcheting hips, front and back, and then side to side. Thigh swivel. Fold that back up in there. Collapsing hips. Ratcheting knees. And then ankle tilt, as well as front to back ratchets in the ankle, which we saw in the stock. Oh, I forgot to flatten this piece. So there we go. His cannon, or his, yeah, I guess at this point his cannon, all collapsed, ready to go. Still got the same built-in LED, and now it plugs in over here on his arm, like that. And there he is. I'll do some size comparisons in a minute after we do accessories, because it's accessory time. He comes with his mace, again, much like the the Masterpiece version. It's on hinges instead of just a loose chain, which I kind of dig. It allows you to pose it in a cool swing pose instead of just hanging droopily like so many Megatrons do. And you can take the ball off the end if you want for whatever reason. He comes with his laser sword. Again, it's tabbed. You can put it in his hand. Have him hold it. He comes with this little laser pistol from the movie. Comes with his helmet. Oh, Oh, well. Stand it. He comes with a die-cast key to vector sigma, which is actually pretty hefty. I mean, it's not super heavy because it's not huge, but die-cast shiny key to vector sigma. Comes with the damaged chest plate, like his Masterpiece counterpart did. It's got 5 peg holes on the back. It doesn't slide up like the Masterpiece. It just pops right off, just like that. Oh, his helmet fell off, but that's okay. So you can just pop it off like that. I haven't put a label on this one. Plug it back in like this if you want to give him his damaged chest plate. And of course, damaged chest plate also has, let me see if I can do this in such a way where I can get a little higher up here. The swappable faces. You just pop his face up top like that. Oh, part of that one fell off. But just slide it in the top. So there's his damaged face with his damaged chest plate. Here is, that was his neutral face. Here is his angry face. He's kind of yelling. Actually, let's go ahead and pop the regular chest plate back on. So he's got an angry face. And then the helmet is a separate piece. Don't worry, these aren't breaking. It's just, they're coming unplugged from the helmet as I pop them off. Because it does require a little bit more effort to pop them off than the MP. And then he's got a ha 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 ha. I've beaten you once again, Optimus laughing face. Now some quick size comparisons with a couple of Masterpiece counterparts just to show you how big he is. Again, I don't have the oversized MP10 or MP01, so you won't see him with a properly scaled counterpart here. But here he is with the actual Masterpiece Megatron. You can see he's much larger. And here he is with everybody's favorite MP10 Optimus Prime. Again, if you have the oversized Masterpiece Optimus from them, this guy scales well with him. If you have MP01, he scales okay with him too. But yeah, very large. Now there's one last thing we need to get to, which is again the bonus for the first run of this guy. And that's this silencer here. I'm gonna bring this down just a little bit so I'm not quite as holding it up as high. Go ahead and pop this out of his hand here. So this is not just the silencer tip. It is short, but it is that way for a reason, because if you take this, it also transforms. So flip these back. Go ahead and pull this lower half down. Flip this piece up here on the back between the two pointy bits. Lift that up about like that. Open up the front here, flip it back, down and around, and you want to fit, there's a little slot here on the back that you want to fit over this piece that we just flipped out. Like that, and that'll hold this in place. Flip these back up. Open up these two side pieces and flip out the wings. And then just kind of rest this on top of them. Come on, wing. There we go. Like that. The feet are on ball joints here, so you can split them apart like that. I wonder if there are some pegs there. No, those, I don't know if those would fit in his arm. So he's got some little pegs there, so maybe if you flip his feet over, you could peg him in to his arm. No, those are too far apart. But yeah, he's got ball joints on his feet. Bring the legs down, and then the head kind of lift up and extend like that. And then you've got a little Laserbeak to go with him. He does have a weird collar here, but oh well. He does have his little flip-up camera in his head. Like, again, he's not a super accurate Laserbeak, but as a, oh, look, he's got that wing got pinned on upside down. I'm just noticing. Well, no, it did it. No. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, no, I was wrong. I was looking at this wing, and I saw this wing. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right, but it is right. It's fine. Ignore me. So, yeah, it's not a super accurate Laserbeak, but considering there's just a little extra piece, that's kind of cool. Like I said, he doesn't peg on, but you can get him to balance on the forearm. Let's see if we can get this up here. Click him back a click. Oh, no! Oh! Okay. I apparently have not been putting him on properly because right here in this arm, there's a magnet. He magnetically sticks. Look at that. Oh, he's falling a little bit. Look at that. Look, mono hands. He magnetically sticks onto there. You know, I think it's because I was trying to stick him onto, I was balancing him on this side of the arm before. But there's a magnet right there that holds him on the arm. There you go. I discovered something. But yeah, like I said, when he first showed up, I was just like, do we really need another Megatron? Especially one that doesn't really scale with much of anything that's out right now. But like somebody pointed out, well, he's meant to scale with their oversized Optimus Prime, which makes sense. I get why a company would want to do that. And like I said, if you have that Optimus Prime, this is a great Megatron to go with it. It's not... Is it better than the actual official Masterpiece? I'm torn. There's some really good stuff going on with how the legs transform. The Masterpiece, I think, wins for me in the fact that like you can remove all the stock and silencer parts like you could on the original toy, and the alt mode is a little bit more accurate. But just for a robot mode Megatron, like I said, he's got a much cleaner back. Like I said, here's the back of MP Megatron, and here's the back of this one. This should be plugged in. That came on tab. So like the legs are a little messier, but if you look, the back itself is much more much cleaner. Even the back of the hips don't look that bad. So it's up to you. Like I said, it actually is surprisingly. I was questioning, do we need this one? I don't know that we need it, but it's a nice option to have. It's a fun Megatron. Aside from those little spring-loaded clips on the waist, especially, like, again, not as difficult when you're not trying to manipulate it from behind the camera. Some of that was absolutely my issues trying to, like, not holding it in front of me, because I've transformed him a few times already sitting on the couch with no issues. It's a neat figure, I gotta say. It's a really neat figure. And like half the price of the Masterpiece, and not quite twice the size, maybe twice the mass, but he's not 2 times as tall. So, yeah, especially if you've already been thrilled with their oversized MP10, this is a great Megatron to go with it. I'm really kind of impressed by how much I dig this figure when I was really doubting oh man, another Megatron. Of the non-official Megatrons, he might be the best. And I like Despotron. But, yeah, with the accessories, the little magnetic Laserbeak, that's really cool. Again, looks a little dinky in gun mode, but a fun little accessory. You get all the same kind of option parts as you do, with the exception of, you know, taking the stock and the silencer and the sight and making the cannon. You get pretty much the same options that you get with the official Masterpiece. So, yeah, I'm going to call that one good. All right, real quick, during the video review, you may have noticed him being a little knock-kneed, and I mentioned when I was transforming him, I feel like there's a tab I'm missing, and I was right. Right here in the shin, as you bring this up, there's a little flip-out tab. You can see right there, this little black piece that flips out, and the tab will tab into the front inside of the shin, and also help, and this piece tabs into this little hole right here. So when you bring that up, and make sure that locks in right there, you can see that is now in the slot. This is locked in, and that prevents the wobble side to side. And then you just go ahead and, again, fold this up, tab this into here, and collapse it all up as you would normally. And then you have to lift this up a little bit right there, and then bring this around, plug it in, and this up, peg it into the side here, and so we're gonna slide that down a little flatter. Plug this into the side, and then that eliminates that weird side-to-side knockiness he had in his. Also, I fixed the spring up here. It was just a matter of unscrewing it and reseating the spring underneath the flange of the screw. But yeah, now his legs are stable. I knew I was missing something, but I was looking and I didn't see it during the video. And as soon as I was done, I popped them up and figured that out. So slide his arm back here. So yeah, there he is, MEGAMASTER with Laserbeak.